The unique qualities of Muhammad are unlike those of any human being to ever walk this earth, for he was chosen by Allah to be the final messenger and seal of the prophets, a man whose life, words, and actions became the greatest example for humanity until the day of judgment. When speaking of his unique qualities, one must begin by recognizing that Allah himself praised him in the Quran with a description not given to anyone else. And indeed, you are of a great moral character. Quran 68:4. This ayah alone summarizes his greatness, but when we look deeper into his life, we realize how multi-dimensional and unmatched his qualities were, covering every aspect of life: spiritual, moral, social, leadership, compassion, wisdom, justice, and humility. His uniqueness was that he was not just a prophet, but also a leader, a father, a husband, a teacher, a statesman, a commander, and above all, a servant of Allah, who carried out his mission with sincerity, resilience, and love for his people, even those who opposed him. One of his unique qualities was his balance between mercy and justice. He was known as Rahmatul lil Alamin, a mercy to all the worlds, and his mercy was not restricted to Muslims alone, but extended to animals, the environment, and even his enemies. When the people of Taif rejected him, mocked him, and caused him physical harm, he did not curse them nor seek revenge, but instead raised his hands and prayed for their guidance. Such mercy in the face of cruelty is a rare quality, especially for someone tasked with such a monumental mission. Yet, alongside his mercy, he never compromised justice. He held everyone accountable regardless of their status or background. He declared that even if his beloved daughter Fatima were to steal, he would apply the law of Allah equally. This balance of mercy and firmness is a quality that shows his unparalleled leadership. Another unique aspect of his character was his humility. Despite being the messenger of Allah, despite being the leader of the Muslims, and despite having victories, followers, and respect, he never raised himself above others. He would sit on the ground with his companions, mend his own clothes, milk his own goats, and eat simple food. He disliked luxury and lived in simplicity, even when wealth came to Medina. His bed was often nothing more than a mat of palm fibers, leaving marks on his body. When the leaders of Quraysh or foreign dignitaries came to meet him, they were often astonished by his modesty, expecting palaces and crowns, but finding a humble man who lived like the poorest of his people. This humility made him approachable, beloved, and an example for leaders who often fall into arrogance when given authority. His patience and perseverance are also among his most remarkable qualities. From the beginning of his mission, he endured ridicule, slander, physical harm, boycotts, and the loss of loved ones, yet he never wavered. He carried the burden of prophethood with immense strength. For more than a decade in Mecca, he and his followers faced persecution, yet he continued to preach with wisdom and patience. The incident of the boycott in the valley of Abu Talib, where Muslims were cut off from food and trade, shows his endurance for the sake of Allah's message. When he lost his beloved wife Khadijah and his uncle Abu Talib in the same year, which became known as the Year of Sorrow, he continued his mission without despair. His patience was not passive but active, a steadfastness rooted in his complete trust in Allah. This quality is a lesson for every believer struggling in times of hardship. His communication and teaching ability were also unique. He spoke with clarity, wisdom, and relevance to every individual. His words touched the hearts of the most hardened enemies, and his advice reached the deepest levels of human understanding. He had the ability to simplify complex matters of faith into words that a child could understand, while at the same time inspiring scholars and thinkers. His sayings, hadith, are filled with timeless guidance that remains applicable in every era. He knew when to speak, when to remain silent, and how to tailor his words to the listener. His ability to influence through gentle reminders rather than harsh rebuke is a reflection of his wisdom. For instance, when a young man came to him asking permission to commit zina, instead of scolding him, he calmly asked him if he would accept the same for his mother, sister, or daughter, leading the young man to reflect and change. This teaching style shows his deep understanding of human psychology and his unique capacity to inspire transformation. His bravery and courage were qualities that inspired his companions and instilled confidence in the Muslim community. He was not a distant leader commanding from behind, but someone who stood at the forefront in battles, defending his people with immense bravery. At the Battle of Hunain, when many soldiers panicked and fled, he stood firm, declaring, "I am the Prophet, no lie. I am the son of Abdul Muttalib," and his presence brought the Muslims back to fight. His courage was not only in battle, but also in speaking the truth against the most powerful leaders of Quraysh, when he was still a lone man in Mecca. It takes immense courage to challenge a corrupt system with no worldly power behind you, yet he did so because his trust was in Allah alone. His justice and fairness were unmatched. He treated people equally, regardless of their tribe, race, or social status. In a society where tribalism was deeply ingrained, he emphasized that superiority lies only in piety, not lineage or wealth. He uplifted the weak and marginalized, ensuring their rights were protected. Women, who were oppressed in pre-Islamic Arabia, found dignity and honor in his teachings. Slaves and servants were treated with compassion and respect. Bilal, a former slave, became one of the most respected figures in Islam due to the Prophet's recognition of his worth. This justice and fairness transformed society and created a community based on equality before Allah. His unique qualities also included his deep compassion and love for his followers. He would spend nights praying and crying for his ummah, asking Allah to forgive them. His concern for his people was so great that Allah revealed verses reminding him not to let his soul be consumed with sorrow over those who did not believe. His love was not abstract but personal. He remembered his companions by name, cared for their needs, and shared their struggles. When a simple servant or child approached him, he gave them full attention and respect. His heart was vast enough to love his family, his companions, and the generations of Muslims who would come after him. He once said, expressing his longing for us, "I wish I could see my brothers." The companions asked, "Are we not your brothers, O Messenger of Allah?" He replied, "You are my companions. My brothers are those who will believe in me without having seen me." This shows his extraordinary love even for us who came centuries later. His devotion to Allah was the foundation of all his qualities. He worshipped with such intensity and sincerity that his feet would swell from long nights of prayer, yet he remained humble, saying, "Should I not be a grateful servant?" His connection with Allah was constant, whether in times of joy or hardship. He made dua for every situation, teaching his ummah to live with mindfulness of Allah in every aspect of life. His entire life was an act of worship, from how he ate to how he led armies. This consciousness of Allah taqwa gave him a strength and serenity that made him unique above all others. Another unique quality was his ability to combine roles seamlessly. He was a spiritual guide, a political leader, a military commander, a father, a husband, and a friend, all without neglecting any responsibility. Many leaders succeed in one area while failing in others, but he excelled in all because his goal was not personal gain, but fulfilling the mission of Allah. His leadership was not built on fear or tyranny, but on love, service, and example. He once said, "The leader of a people is their servant," and he lived this principle. His foresight and vision for the future were qualities that ensured the survival and spread of Islam. He built a community in Medina that became the foundation of a global civilization. He established treaties, organized governance, and provided clear guidance that would last for centuries. He trained his companions to carry the mission after him, instilling in them the values needed to preserve and spread the faith. His vision was not limited to his lifetime. He prepared a blueprint for humanity until the day of judgment. All these unique qualities make Muhammad the most complete example for mankind. He was neither an angel nor someone detached from human struggles, but a human who faced trials, temptations, and hardships, yet rose above them with the guidance of Allah. This balance makes him relatable yet extraordinary, a role model accessible to every believer regardless of their time, place, or circumstances. His qualities are timeless, and his example remains the ultimate guide for how to live with purpose, dignity, and success in this world and the next.